two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another fantastic journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, but today we are going to go on about a film that was brought to us, our attention by my fiance Tammy. And I know she's mentioned this film over time. She's the one who told me about it, had me watch it some years back, and I think this is probably my second or third time watching the film. It is a film that's directed by Stephen Hopkins from 1996, starring Michael Douglas and Val Kilmer, and many others here. So let me see what IMDb says about the film. Give me a moment here. Bringing it up. Ghost. And okay. It says a bridge engineer and an experienced old hunter begin a hunt for two lions after they start attacking local construction workers. And it also stars Tom Wilkinson, John Connie, Bernard Hill, Brian McCarty, Emily Mortimer, among others. Let's go into first impressions. Let's start with you, Tammy. Why did you feel like you wanted to talk about this film, and was this a first time watch for you?
It was not my first time watch, actually. In the past, I've said on this channel and other that my dad has introduced me to things. Well, this time it was my mother, and she told me, you have to watch The Ghost in the Darkness. It's just, you have to watch it. So after I watched it the first time, I was really, really impressed because it's, it is actually based on a true story. And while watching it, if you keep this in mind that it's based on a true story, it is just phenomenal because it's like, how can this really be true? But it really is. And it's just a unique film because of it being based on a true story. And then throughout the film they're talking about, this is not how lions act, this is not what lions do, and this, and as it progresses you realize that it really isn't, this isn't how they act, and all the different people that are in it, the different tribes that are there, and all the different people that have to work together, and the dream. Val Kilmer's character has of building this bridge, and I think it's just done really, really good. You got your drama and your action and your legends and your beliefs, different beliefs, religious beliefs, that you've got just so much packed into this film. And then in the back of your mind, you know that it's based on a true story. So, and that just kind of adds to it. So,
okay.
I've seen it many times. I couldn't wait to get it into my collection.
Okay. Heading over to you, Boris. Was this a first time watch for you?
Yes, it was the first time. The movie was interesting. I enjoyed it for the most part. Maybe at the beginning it was a little bit too slow, but it got better later on. And yeah, the fact that it's based on a true story is what really makes it interesting because if it wasn't for that, I would have been left wondering who or what those lions really were, because throughout the movie they kept implying that they were something more than just lions, that they were some supernatural entities or something. But in the end, there was no explanation about them actually being something supernatural. So the cause of them acting different from normal lions was never explained, which would have felt like a plot hole if it wasn't for the fact that it really is based on a true story, and that apparently there cannot be an explanation because there isn't one in real life. So that's what makes it make sense the way it is. Mm, so yeah, overall, I did enjoy the movie, but yeah, maybe if there is one thing that left me slightly disappointed was that it kept making me expect something supernatural, which eventually didn't happen. But like I said, the fact that it really is based on a true story kind of makes it work the way it is. So fair enough.
Okay. Well, opposite Boris here. This is not, like I said, my first time watch. This is at least my second, if not third time watching the film. Um, I know Val Kilmer as being Ice in Top Gun, and I know he played in Real Genius. He played Batman in Batman Forever. Um, he's been in a lot of films, and I kind of feel bad for the actor because lately he's had to struggle with throat cancer in his older
Oh,
age. But I remember him starting to be in like some independent films like Twixt and the Traveler and Riddle amongst some of those. But I know this was an interesting film because he was younger in here, um, and he seemed to know a lot about the animals when he first like arrived in Africa. He was a straightforward soldier who came to build this bridge. You know, he knew nothing about like the problems that they were having before he arrived, so he thought he knew everything there was, and boy was he wrong. So I thought that
yeah.
this movie was interesting because I had before this movie I didn't realize lions could be that aggressive. Um, and these lions did not act like lions. I mean, they came out during the day and attacked. Normally, they hunt at night. You know, um, that was something that was supernatural about them. Plus, once they went to the actual lair in the end, didn't you see all the skulls and whatnot? Most
Uh,
lions do not keep like anything left of their victims, you know,
uh,
and
Yeah, that was actually something I hoped would be explained, but then in the end it wasn't.
What needs to be explained? These were all picked bones that they came across of like all their previous victims. Isn't that horrifying enough?
Yeah, it is, but it doesn't explain why those lions were doing it, since lions normally don't do it.
There was no real explanation, but I'll tell you a
Y-
little bit of history here. Um, um, this gentleman named Patterson is the one that wrote the original book in 1907, and um, at that time there was no official record kept. So when they started keeping the record, the record was about 28 people died, but that, like it says, that was when they first started keeping a record. Um, then there was a different paper done in 2001 called the Savo Lions by
the
And
Tsavo man eaters.
yeah,
and th-
Salvo was the name of the camp or the name of the area or region that they were in that they were building this bridge.
then there was
But
another publication called the Lions of Savo, exploring the legacy of the Africa's notorious man eaters, and that was published in 2004. And the actual lions, though, from this movie, the actual lions that they're talking about are called the Savo man eaters, and they're on display in the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago.
okay, I've been to
And
that museum.
just another note, the location where the bridge was built is now called Man Eaters Camp. It is in Savo East National Park in Kenya. So,
Mm,
But
just
yes,
just a little note.
yeah.
like I said, I thought that this movie was entertaining, and I think that it showed the ferocity that these lions could do. I mean, these guys were dragged into their tents and ripped apart to shreds. you know,
Yeah.
but let us go to the plot here. The film is actually narrated by Samuel, um,
Oh.
who um, who is John Connie. He is telling this story because he's the local African um, man on location of the camp, as believe Val Kilmer, who plays Colonel John Henry Patterson, uh, who is a soldier who gets um, shipped to this area to make sure that this bridge gets built, and he has to deal with the locals and the hirees at the time, and they are already experiencing attacks before he arrives. Um, so he arrives kind of in the middle of this situation already, um, thrown into the lion's den as we know it. He's a bit like Daniel, except without the knowing of the lions. At least,
Um,
And
can I interrupt
without
you
the
for
lions.
yes.
Savo? I wanted to put this out there. According to the natives, the natural word Savo means a place of slaughter.
Oh, yeah.
So That's what the natives say is the meaning of the word. So, which is kind of interesting.
So when
Yes.
he gets this meeting of this Robert Beaumont dude, uh, Mr. Patterson. He has a meeting of this dude that wants this bridge built, and he's not an easy man to work for. You can already tell. He's kind of an
Uh,
interesting character. The only thing he cares about is progress. You know.
I oh yeah, I kind of hoped the lions would eat him.
Yeah, because he doesn't care about the people dead. He doesn't care about that. He cares about them moving forward and getting this thing done. And he thought that he had hired him to do the job, and he thinks that it's just a little like a little lion mishap. Why can't you, a hunter, kill these lions? You know, it's a little bit more complicated than that, as he says. But
Yeah.
um, Pattinson, um, before he leaves, his wife is with child, and she is young, so he has to leave her behind to go and do this. And I know that he seems to really love her. Um, and he writes letters to her about the happenings, but he also has nightmares later on about like what might happen to her if he does not like kill the final lion. But we'll get there. Um, so when he gets shipped to Africa, he meets this young man who I believe he's a missionary. He's a missionary that is supposed to go with him to Salvo to help him with this. And he's an interesting character too because he's a missionary, but once blood starts flying, he's like all into it. Like he even said, I don't even mind the blood. I actually really like it. And he's all like bravado, you know.
Yeah, and he was like, "Is that weird?" And I was like, "Yeah, it is a bit."
Well, and we also have um, Samuel, who appears to be a tribal leader of sorts, um, and he's an interesting character too because he's one of the like main characters that seems to ground the group because he's native, he's local, and he seems to be able to talk to the rest of the natives that are working for the encampment. Um, but he's also kind of a guide, and so when Pattinson actually kills like a lion, um, he gives him this claw necklace um, to help him have good luck. Evidently, to wear the claws of this lion means good luck. Because
Uh,
and at first, like people seem to respect him because and you know, for a week they actually have um good progress. You know, after that first lion lion was killed,
Yes.
But it wasn't the lions that were actually killing that he killed. He killed just a lone one, evidently.
Uh, yeah, speaking of which, why did they say that? Why did they end up saying that the whole thing started to happen when he joined? Like, wasn't it said that those lions were killing people even before?
Well, unfortunately, when bad things happen, somebody gets blamed in any situation. Even
Uh,
since the beginning of time. It just so happens that the Lions seem to be focused on him. Um, and it's kind of interesting because they find out that the Lions have been killing for quite some time, but to the general public, to the locals, it only started when he arrived. So they are basically blaming Pattinson for the deaths and bringing this evil to them, upon them. So um, there are some interesting characters that I still have to mention, like the doctor of the camp. Um,
oh yeah, he ended up in a major spoodow.
yeah, Bernard Hill. He eventually played Theoden in Lord of the Rings.
Ah, that's him.
Yeah, but
Oh,
he plays David Hawthorne, Doctor David Hawthorne in here, and he's kind of an interesting character because he seems like he's a weathered dude. He knows his way around his hospital. He seems to care about his people, but he makes some mistakes, and so does Pattinson when they eventually, because after having the more people killed, um, and him not, well, he tries to actually um, kill the lion himself, and the ideas that he has are solid, but they don't exactly work out for him, and people keep dying um, under his lead. And at first, he
mm,
goes to Beaumont, and he's like, "Well, what about the soldiers that you promised me? The backup. There are no soldiers going to come. Well, who do you think I am? I'm not going to spend money on that for a simple lion kill, you know. But I am going to hire this one guy, and he pleads with him, "Hey, you gave me this responsibility. I will kill these lions. You just need to give me the help." you know, that's basically what he's telling him, even though he's
yeah.
like, and he asks, "What steps do you have to uh, ensure that this does get done?" So he shows like this box that he has created, and apparently there are these bars that he's going to have people hide behind with guns to try to lure the lions in. And it does not happen the way that he thinks it's going to happen.
Uh,
Number one, those dudes were asleep when the fucking lion came. Number two, they couldn't. They were not sharpshooters. They couldn't hit a ping pong off the ding dong bat. So
Well, the
mm,
thing was, too, they should have gotten closer to the bars when they were shooting because they were shooting the bars, not the lions. Because they couldn't
Yeah,
get in
actually,
between the
I
bars.
was wondering the same thing. Like, yeah, like why were they standing closer to the opposite wall? Why didn't they walk closer and just shot the lion in the mouth?
Because they were skittish and scared, and they didn't want they didn't think that they could get close enough to the lion. And I imagine seeing that ferocious like beast, which at that moment, the way that it was clawing at them, and the fact that it shook the whole damn thing, it broke that big ass board, like it broke the door. I mean, it shook the hinges. It shook the whole damn thing. I mean, that thing was strong, you know. And it was just a single lion that was doing all that,
Yeah.
you know. Also, we have a moment where the missionary actually um, they think that they've got a shot at the lion. I believe it's before this even happens, and the missionary was with them, and so was Samuel, and they were heading closer to a lion that was mauling a worker. Um, and what they didn't know was that there were two lions. At first, they thought it was just a single lion. It was two, because the one came down from above and jumped on the missionary and killed him. Well, he didn't even have enough time to get a shot off, and I believe that's when Pattinson hurt his arm for the first time too. Was this after that box incident? I'm trying to
No,
remember.
the box that no, the box incident was afterwards because um um it was his response to what happened because he didn't want. I think he didn't want them out hunting him because of what had happened with that guy when they were actually all out hunting him.
Yeah, because
So
wasn't
he
he
was trying
reading
the
a letter
box
from his
thing.
wife, and then all of a sudden they attacked during the day, which is what surprised them, that they were attacking during the day.
Yeah.
Right. And then after that, that's when they made the box. And I think that's when, well, before that, they had put up the fence.
Yeah, they had
And
put
they
up
somehow got through
the fence, which was like this barbed like tree shrubbery,
and they somehow
which
got through that during the day. And that's what set this whole thing off with that box.
yeah,
After that guy got
because
killed.
I believe they realized that they were building this thing, and they weren't quite finished yet. The line decided to attack, and that's when they found the lion still eating the flesh of the dude and uh, his nasty bits. Uh, and that's when we get the whole second lion jumping down on top of the missionary, killing the dude, and hurting. Uh, Sorry about that, folks.
Hello, what happened?
Well, I swear the Ghost in the Darkness did not want us to continue.
Yeah, and just before that happened, I also had glitches with my internet connection, so I thought the issue was on my end.
Nope. But let us continue. Where was I? Tammy, do you remember
And
where I was?
a good question.
Tammy, are you there?
Mm, uh, Tammy, hello. Tammy, you're
Uh,
muted.
yeah, Tammy, you're muted. Anyways, it's
Hmm.
shortly after the um, that lion jumping on the missionary. That's the last that I remember.
Oh, yeah, the
And then
missionary got
I think
killed.
I was starting to talk about Charles Remington showing up, Michael Douglas's character. Um, Apparently, he had already heard about the situation, and though Pattinson was already told that um, he could still have the opportunity to show himself self worthy of the job. I do still think that Remington showed up because he'd heard about it and um, wanted to help, even though you know he was not a thrill seeker. He had the attitude that he did not enjoy blood. He did not enjoy killing, but
Mm,
he has a particular set of skills, and he came with a group of warriors, um, which at first um, Pattinson is given a gun by the doctor, um, saying that it was a stronger a gun. Here, use it. But it was an untested gun, and so when he tried to fire it didn't fire, um, and because of that instant, because of
mm,
that moment, the warriors said, "Fuck this shit. We're not helping you anymore. We think that you are the reason why the ghosts in the darkness are here, anyways." But Remington still stuck around. Tammy, are you here? Um, what did you think about the character?
maybe you could. Uh, what did I think? Uh, Actually, I thought he was pretty interesting. I kind of found it amusing how he comes off as cold and a jerk at the beginning, but then when you get to know him better, you realize he is not bad at all. And I was sad when his character ended the way he did. Didn't didn't expect that.
Okay, hold that thought for a moment. I'm just going to go see if Tammy, can you hear us?
Okay.
Well, log out, log back in.
Who?
Well, she's going to log out and log back in, but so after that misfiring moment, um, we do get
Hello.
Hello. Sorry.
Uh,
Everyone was kicked.
Hello.
StreamYard is acting funky. Um, but what did you think about Remington
And
as a
it might
character?
not only be stream.
Huh? Me?
What did you think about Remington as a character?
That was Michael Douglas, right? Is
Correct.
Remington. I thought he was kind of, in a way, full of himself, you know? Kind of had that kind of personality, you know? But he did and he didn't, you know? He knew he was good at what he was doing, and, you know, he actually had quite a rapport with the natives, which was cool and everything. But he just seemed a little like self-centered in a way, you know, just, you know. But I
Well,
think
yeah,
he
he did
genuinely
end up
cared
getting.
about taking care of the problem. Yeah, he ended up getting eaten, but
Yeah,
I think he did
he
genuinely
highly
care
doubted.
about the problem and about the natives. So I think Michael Douglas made a good Remington, though. I think he
Okay.
pulled it off good.
Yeah, because he doubted Pattinson's ideas that they would work,
Well,
and
he said that that trap was a good idea, and he said that he did something similar to that, and and then Patterson asked him, "Well, did it work for you?" And he goes, "As a matter of fact, no."
well, it worked for someone else,
Hmm.
in like some other expedition or whatnot, and
Which is why
he
they
said,
both had the idea of using it. I
yeah,
think originally it worked as a zebra or something like that. To trap a zebra or something is what it
Oh,
was.
oh yeah, there was a moment when they almost shot a zebra instead of one of the lions.
well,
But I think that
they brought a screaming monkey or baboon in to tempt the lion at this moment too.
well, it
I
tempted
believe.
him. The monkey disappeared.
Mm.
Yep,
Hmm.
and it's through the fog and the mists that I believe. Uh, I believe the lion was in fact wounded by that gun that Remington had given him. If it wasn't for that blaster of a gun that he'd given him, he probably wouldn't have gotten a shot off at all. Because
No.
a hawk or a heron or some kind of bird came in and flew and distracted him and had him fall off that ledge that he was on and made him fall to the ground. It kind of unbalanced him, but gave the lion an advantage, and he got a shot off. But Remington and Pattinson went off in pursuit because they found evidence that the lion was wounded, and they went off into the fog to hunt it down. I do believe that Pattinson has another moment of you know staying still, but like shell shock a moment of what the fuck, and the lion gets shot by Remington, and they go back and celebrate a bit. I do like Samuel a little bit because earlier in the film he asked him, "Does he love his wife?" And he's like, "Yes, I don't like any of my four wives."
that that was a funny moment.
And I think, you know, at first I think Patterson had a little bit too much confidence because of shooting that original lion with one shot, and everybody going one shot. That's and boosting his confidence like that. So I think when they went into doing this hunt for these lions, he might have been a little bit overconfident at first.
Yeah, his confidence was premature. Definitely for these lions. But
Yeah, we could say so.
it's at this moment that they take out, and it seems like they have a binge moment where they get drunk and celebrate. But the thing is, it's not over till it's over. And meanwhile, they're hearing off in the distance the howling and growling of the other lion, and he's like, you know what? And Remington is like, you know what? Not that concerned right now, because right now all he is a bully, and he's realizing that he is now alone for the first time in his life. And that's when we get this whole dream sequence that is quite real, where Pattinson's wife comes, and he sees her standing up on the train depot, and she's calling his name, and he's calling to her, get down, get down. And he's seen the lion come towards her, and it actually really looks real. And then right as the lion pounces her and starts to rip her apart, that's when he wakes up. What do y'all think about that?
The first time I watched this movie, I didn't realize that was a dream at first. The first time I watched this, until he wakes up, but then it was like, damn, that was one hell of a dream.
But that was a nightmare.
Yeah, for a moment I really did.
For a moment you thought that was real?
You didn't think it was a dream either, Philippe?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't realize at first it was a dream. Not until he woke up, I did think it was really happening.
Well, don't feel bad. I felt the same way the first time I watched it. And then when I realized it was a dream, it was just like, whoa.
Yeah, they really tricked us there.
And then when he realizes that Remington's tent was destroyed and follows the blood trail, and Samuel finds Remington's necklace, evidently that lion was busy while they were tanked. Because Remington's body was all over the place.
Which they don't show us that. They just show us all the blood.
Yeah, they show us all the blood.
Yeah.
But we do.
That's one thing about this movie is that it in the very beginning, the one that got taken, and then when Remington does, they show all the blood from the area, but they don't show them ripped apart. They kind of leave that for your imagination. The only things that they actually show is when the lions are actually attacking and pulling the guys from the tents and attacking them and stuff, but they don't show like in those two big ones, they don't show the end result except for the blood, and keep you use your imagination type of thing. Because you see all the blood.
Yeah.
And there's also another guy that I should probably mention. The leader of the workers. I believe his name as an actor was Puri, but he played Abdullah.
I believe so.
He always had a turban on his head. And he was kind of interesting because at first he wanted to leave during like the first of the scares, and and that's when Pattinson was actually kind of smart. Okay, fine, go ahead and leave, but then you make sure you tell the husbands or the wives and the children of the men who have died here exactly why you were cowards. Which basically puts him in his place. And they get back to work after that.
Well, that's because Abdullah had made a comment calling him, saying something about because you're a white man or something. And
you can do
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
He stopped the child.
You think you can do anything, and there was a racist comment in there about his race. So
Yeah. And we didn't discuss the scene when the lions attacked the hospital, unless that was in one of those parts when when my connection was malfunctioning.
that was one of the moments with Remington where they had actually set up. They had actually moved the hospital, if I remember correctly, and
Right.
set up blood in the old hospital. But they didn't realize that they were going to the lions were going to attack the new area of the hospital. They thought that they would because of their freshly killed animals that they had spread blood around.
They didn't realize that the lions outsmarted them.
Yeah, were smarter than they thought they were. And they attacked all the sick people. Well, so-called sick people, because when Beaumont came through and saw all the people in the hospital, he was like, "What are these people doing here? They're not sick. Get them up and working." You know.
Yeah, that attack was quite a massacre. Even the doctor died on that one.
Yeah.
He had to go charging in. It's my hospital. I care about these people.
And then he just became a part of the big Spudao.
Yeah, he became a part of the slaughter.
Yeah, okay, maybe we shouldn't laugh at that since it's based on true events, but yeah, whenever.
It was definitely a massacre, that's for sure. There was no one left alive there, and it was after that a hospital thing is when I think they actually did leave. All the people on the trains in the fucking morning, and Abdullah was just staring Pattinson down like, "What? You gonna stop me now?" You know. But Abdullah also had another interesting moment when Remington arrived, because he was somewhat scared of him because he'd heard of him, and he after when Remington left, he said, "I'm sure we'll meet again." Or something to that effect. Because at first, I think before Remington arrived on the scene, he was complaining again or whatnot. Because he was like kind of like the voice of the hired folks. Not exactly sure what kind of people they were. They looked like they were Israelites or Israelis. Not exactly sure how to describe their nationality.
Possibly, I'm not sure.
I just knew that they were natives of the area.
Okay, so they were just natives of the area. They looked like they might have been of Arab descent. So, which is very possible because this is Africa. So, but in any case, moving on. So we just now have Samuel and uh, Pattinson, and right after they burn the body of Remington, they decide to burn the brush, and Pattinson goes a little mad right here because he says he's going to take care of the situation, and he shoots the gun
Uh,
off,
yeah,
and says, I'm going to take care of this situation. I'm going to take care of this situation. You know,
yeah, was like
so,
he was wasting bullets there.
no, he was getting the attention of the Alliance. That's what he was trying to do because he wanted it to come at him.
Oh, interesting. I thought the shots would maybe scare the lion away or something.
I think in a way he was trying to tempt the lion to come get me, motherfucker.
I think so too, because I think he was thinking all the noise and stuff would attract them.
And it did. And it's started to come at him, but he was on that bridge, and at first he got a one shot off, but then he stumbled backwards, and then he fumbled around and got that like cannon of a gun and shot it down a couple of times, but then that lion came running at him, and he ran towards Samuel, and Samuel kept telling him to duck, and he didn't duck, and he
Then
just
the lion followed him up the tree. I mean, that lion really wanted him because that lion was intent on climbing that tree after him. I mean,
yeah, he went
the way that
downward. He went down underneath the bridge to a tree and climbed up it, and the lion followed him and climbed up that tree. And not Abdullah, Samuel climbed another tree, not too far from them, threw him the gun. The gun dropped. He saw the gun drop. The lion was coming closer and closer and closer, and suddenly he just did a jump. He grabbed the gun, fired, and then he had to drag himself a little further, and then he fired again, and the lion was then
yeah, the lion died with his leg, I think, in his mouth, and he never got a chance to clamp down on it. But what do you think though about them climbing that tree? I mean, the way they show it in the movie, that lion, you could hear his nails, and it was so intense. Him trying to climb that tree after him, it was just. I thought that was just like really an intense moment because he's just coming after him up that tree. You know.
Definitely. It was a kind of scary moment, yeah.
Well, I feel like these lions were a little bit like velociraptors, because you didn't expect the one lion to come in from the side. You know, it was like that moment in the beginning of Jurassic Park when Alan Grant is spinning the tale about how raptors attack. You know, they don't they see velociraptors are pack hunters. They come about you lightly, bobbing your head. But what you don't
Male
realize,
lions are not pack hunters.
you don't realize that while you're looking at this one, the other one is coming around you at the side.
Right, because male you don't figure that because male lions don't usually hunt together.
No, they do not. Males do not hunt together normally in as lions. They normally think they are the king of beasts, so they think that they can hunt alone. You know,
Mm,
and not to this extent, and not to cannibalism like this.
This was more for sport than for hunger on the lion's
wait,
part.
wait, what do you mean cannibalism? We didn't see them eating other lions, did we?
Well, no, but do you necessarily know any lions that eat humans?
They
Uh,
can.
well,
I mean, eat
well,
like eat them for food.
well, if they
Well, I
have
was reading
nothing
a
else to eat, I think they would eat humans.
thing and it said some lion and other lion attacks and stuff. Especially on this one, they did a study on these particular lions, and lions their teeth have a tendency to get ground down from their environment and from the hunting, and sometimes and actually humans are a softer tissue and a softer meat, and that's why they figured these lion part of why these lions were attacking the humans was because they were easier on them. It was easier prey, easier food because of the humans being a softer type of a food for them. But they said that they got the lions at the museum. They studied
Hmm.
their teeth and their skulls, and totally completely studied them and found out that they had some teeth problems, which would explain partially why they were going after the humans.
Yeah, I read something about that too.
But for some reason, we're not hearing you, dear. Uh,
Uh,
can you speak again?
hello?
Can you hear us?
Yes, right now I can hear you, but I have had glitches. I think my connection is acting like shit again. Hello? Oh, or maybe it's not the connection.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. As we know, there were two lions, and I think the second lion got to us.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Nice one.
But as we finish up the film, as we know, I do believe that the bridge was finally finished after words, and his wife and child did ultimately show up to visit. But he was trying to make sure that this wasn't a dream; it was in fact real, because he imagined that the lion was going to attack her like right before he met up with her, and there was also another missionary that was all gun ho about missing the hunt and saying the famous lion killer and all that. Um, but he really wasn't concerned with passing stories with the dude. He wanted to go meet up with his wife. So, um,
Uh,
what do y'all think about
yeah,
this
it's
ending?
well, it's actually quite interesting that he had a nightmare about his wife visiting and all that happening, while the wife apparently really did intend to go over there and meet him. I wonder if that's all a part of the true story.
I wonder if it is too. You never know. But
I
you
didn't
did.
read anything about that. I mean, in the stuff I've read, actually, Remington himself was not a part of the real story. He was an added character for the movie. So,
Oh, Remington didn't exist.
nope, according to the
Uh,
books and the papers and everything that were written about this
It was all
actual
Pattinson.
incident, Remington was not a part of it. He was an added character.
uh,
Okay.
well, in that case, they didn't have to kill him off like that.
Well, maybe Michael Douglas wanted to go out in style.
With him being an added character to the actual story, they could do whatever they wanted.
Yep. Splatter his blains all over the screen for all they care. Well, but which they pretty much did,
Yeah.
but they didn't show the brain matter, unfortunately. But in any case, it was relatively. I mean, it showed some gore and definitely blood, so I think it was enough. You know, enough to make you think that these were violent creatures. So, but
Mm, definitely.
I think we're at the production stage of things. So, what did y'all think about the production?
I thought it was really good. I mean,
Uh,
it looked it did look very realistic. The area looked, um, I mean, I was looking up and stuff that they didn't actually film it right where they said, but they did film it in Africa. It was due to political things and restrictions that they couldn't actually film it actually as Savo, but they did use another area in Africa. So that, and because of that, it did actually look very realistic for the movie. Um, I think the lions themselves um, looked very realistic. They looked, I mean, to me, they looked real. They didn't look like they were doing something that they couldn't have done. You know what I mean? yes, they could have done. They could have jumped or attacked, or they could have dragged somebody. I mean, everything that they showed the lions doing, I believe they really could do. They made them look very, very real. So I think the production was very good. I
Okay.
like when things look real.
Yeah, it definitely looked very real. I also think the production was great. One thing that kind of drew my attention at the beginning was when Patterson just arrived to Africa and we saw all those animals he was seeing during the drive. That was really nice. Kind of gave me some Lion King vibes.
Well, and one thing that I forgot to mention is the fact that he's spouting off this information that he's never experienced before, and it's more knowledge than than the missionary who's actually lived in Africa for quite some time. Um, even knew about the animals. You know, so
Yeah.
he was one upping him on his knowledge of the animals. So his knowledge, encyclopedia wise, was extensive, and he knew a lot. A lot. He'd studied a lot. You could tell that he did. So, but and one thing he said is that he'd always wanted to come here. So, um, so he did have a love of. I do think that he had a love of animals, um, even though he hunts them, But that being said, um, production for me, I thought the production was pretty awesome. The you could tell that the areas of Africa were pretty much Africa, and the encampment it looked pretty real. The I mean, there was a hospital, there were people. There was a railway way that they were trying to build over this bridge. You could tell that there was enough of some people to realize which ones were which. And I thought the characters that were involved were pretty entertaining. And it was an interesting political situation too. As far as you've got your hirees, got your people that act like they're part of a union in a sense, you know. Uh, uh, you got your tribal leader who's kind of a local as being Samuel, and so on and so forth. I thought the whatever wasn't real lions, if they had to do like some animatronics, you couldn't really tell. There was a lot of
Definitely.
strength that was shown from these lions that were not in normal lions. So I have not seen anything really that much since, except for maybe the documentary of Roar, which I don't know if you heard but on set that I believe Tippi Hedren took her family and was in charge of a wildlife preserve of some sort that had something to do with lions or tigers or something like that, and shit ran amok, and the production uh, lost a lot of members because of that.
Oh.
And of course, you can't forget the famous white tigers with uh, who are those brothers?
The white
Tammy,
tigers.
we can't hear you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the name of them again. I know they were
Oh,
famous. They were from Vegas. You
Yeah, they
know,
were famous Vegas people. Um,
I can't.
I
I can't
thought you were
remember the name of.
talking about. I thought you were talking about some tigers.
yeah, white tiger
Oh,
incident
Oh, I
he was
Vegas.
talking about where animals have gone bad, like on the set. You know,
oh, I thought there were tigers in this
Siegfried
movie,
and
and I was
Roy.
like,
Yeah, Siegfried and Roy. Yeah, the tiger attacked. You know,
Yeah, the tiger attacked. Who was it? Siegfried or was it Roy?
I think it was Roy.
Okay, yeah, they did a Vegas performance, and they had been, advocates of these white tigers for
They had
many
them
years.
wandering around their estate.
They're Yeah, they had them wandering around there.
They had like an
Just,
animal sanctuary, basically.
yeah, and
hmm.
they did a performance, and Roy something scared the tiger, and basically bit Roy, and for many years he was afterwards he was handicapped because of it and couldn't speak. I think so.
Whoa.
In a sense, he was kind of like Hawkins in a sense, Stephen Hawkins, but in
And the
any
whole time he didn't want the tiger destroyed and everything because he said it wasn't the tiger's fault and everything. It's because he kept saying, as
Hmm.
gentle as they were, and they brought these animals up from cubs and other ones and everything, they still are a wild animal. And he said it wasn't the tiger's fault. The tiger got spooked about something and it reacted, you know. And when things that I read and stuff about it, Roy put a spin on it that he felt that the tiger was trying to got spooked about something and was trying to protect him. But how he grabbed him to try and drag him off the stage hurt him, and it hurt him very badly. But he believes that the tiger was trying to protect him from something, and that was the only way that he knew to get him out of the situation was to drag him off stage. So he was not blaming the tiger.
Nope. It was a famous
Hmm.
incident that happened with wild animals in like a circus performance. So they were performers of many years, had done this with these tigers for years before this. So there was no reason why the tiger couldn't have done the job that they expected it to do. It's just fluke things happen, you know, and what happened happened. So, but in any case, moving on to the music. Did anyone notice the music at all?
I guess I
Well,
kind of
every
like
now and
the
uh, yeah, like there was every now and then some background music that I assume it's something traditional African to
Well,
create
the music was
the
done by
African
Jerry.
atmosphere.
The music was done by Jerry Goldsmith, who has been
Ooh.
part of a lot of Star Trek, uh, particularly two episodes of Picard. Um, let's see,
The
Star
Omen.
Wars 3, Star Trek: The Romulan Wars. Let's see. Going backwards.
I found it very interesting with when the tribe was doing like their dance and with Michael Douglas's character with Remington, and they were doing their whole dance and everything. I found that was really really interesting. So
Mm,
Okay. Yeah, Star Trek Nemesis, The Sum of All Fears,
yeah, it was good.
The, the Last Castle. He was the composer of the theme music for Voyager. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the universal theme of that. Much of the Land Before Time film series he was behind. The Kid, the 13th Warrior, he was the conductor of the orchestra. He was the conductor in the music behind The Haunting. He was a conductor for some of the score behind The Mummy, the remake with Brendan Fraser. Shiloh 2, Insurrection, he was a conductor. Small Soldiers, he was a conductor for U.S. Marshals. Deep Rising, Patton, The Edge, Leave It to Beaver, the remake. Air Force One, Hercules, L.A. Confidential, First Contact. 2 Days in the Valley, Chain Reaction, Executive Decision.
so he's got an extensive career.
Powder, yep, he's definitely had an extensive career. Congo, I forgot about that one. Congo, we should cover that one. The River Wild, Speed, Star Trek: The Next Generation, 176 episodes of it. He did the main theme for it. So yeah, he's definitely had an extensive career. So now into
Definitely.
favorite character or characters and or favorite scenes. Let's go with you, Tammy.
Mm,
Who was your favorite character or characters or favorite scenes?
I think my main favorite character was Samuel. I liked
ooh,
um he, he just he had the right kind of humor at times, and he was trying to keep everything in check, and he made his little comments here and there about he hates he doesn't like lions, and he doesn't and we heard about the comment when he asked Patterson, do you like do you care for your wife? And he's like, yes. And he goes, I have four, and I don't care for any of them. He just, I think he brought a lot to the film. Um, Favorite scenes? Oh boy. Um, well, of course, I like the final one because that's very intense. He shoots him, and he's still the lion's still coming, and he shoots him again. I mean, well, the whole scene right there leading up to it actually is my favorite, where the lions, the chase is on the bridge, the whole showdown there. You know, he fires at him. He drops his gun. The whole chase is on. He goes up the tree. The lion's trying to get him in the tree. Samuel throws him the gun. That whole like scene leading up there is basically my favorite. My second one is when they really truly realize these are not normal lions when they're in the den, and they see all them bones, and they see the pictures on the walls and everything, and they're just standing there in amazement because it's all it all comes like boom right then and there. You realize, you as a viewer realize these are not normal lions, you know. you realize it just when they realize it too. You know, so I guess those two are like my favorite.
Okay. What about you, Boris? What are your
Uh, my
favorite
favorite.
characters or favorite scenes?
My favorite character would probably be Remington. I think, especially since he is apparently fictional. I think it kind of sucks that they killed him off. They could have done the rest of it without doing that, because to me, at least, he was the coolest. He was often the voice of the reason there, and appearing tough at first, but actually he was a good guy, and I also liked his story about how he kicked those bullies' asses back in his day. uh, and my favorite scene, well, actually, I liked all the confrontations with the lions. They were those were the scenes that were really keeping my attention and making me want to see what was going on, and hoping to find some solution to the mystery of what those lions really were, which eventually there wasn't any solution. But okay, but if I have to pick one, okay, maybe I would pick the scene when the lions went after the hospital. Although like I said, maybe I shouldn't find that scene amusing if it's based on something that really happened. But in movies, I usually have fun watching such spoodaus. So uh,
Okay. Is that pretty much your
uh, Oh,
favorite?
and I also really liked the nightmare sequence, because that was really well done. And it was a really intense moment when the lion apparently ate Patterson's wife, only for us to suddenly realize it didn't really happen. That was also very good.
I also think that Samuel is my favorite character out of all of them. He's a character that grounded. He had some humor. He was the narrator of the story, so uh, he was kind of
Oh,
pulled it all together and remembered it to tell us. So that being said, I do like the whole hospital massacre sequence. I do like the nightmare sequence. I do like the den moment when they realize, holy
oh, oh
shit.
yeah, oh yeah, the moment with those skulls, yeah, that was also amazing. How did I forget that?
The moment of the skulls and the stuff on the walls, and the amount of killing that has been done before, like even Remington said, these aren't lions. This is not what lions do. Um, I mean, this this particular attack, it goes to show you that there are things on this earth that are unexplainable, and
Mm,
why they do the things they do is beyond me. But there are fluke moments in animal history where we don't know exactly why these animals do what they do, and it's just like criminals. Why do serial killers tend to kill people? We want to figure out what the workings in these people's minds, and it's like why try to wonder? Just get him off this earth, you know?
Well, actually, when it comes to serial killers, I think you cannot really come up with one reason for them all. I think it can be a wide variety of different factors that can make a person become like that.
A person can breathe funny, and a person will want them dead. So it's.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
I mean, you could flick a blade of glass and get someone wondering, okay, how can I kill that person for killing my blade of grass? You know, so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the fickle things in life, the small things in life that people seem to get irritated with other people about, and y'all should all just worry about the bigger picture. But
Oh,
in any,
very true.
um, my I guess I have many favorites in this film, so I can't really choose just one. Um, but yeah, there it is. So hopefully, you ladies and gentlemen out there who have been listening to our discussion on this film have looked beyond our moments where we were attacked by lions and continued uh, listening, because I think we had a good discussion here. And if you haven't seen the movie, go out and see it. Let us know down in the comments what you thought of our discussion, and let us know what you thought in the end, whether we were right or wrong. So
Definitely.
I guess we won't know what Crow's pick will be next week and whether he will actually show up for his own pick. But I'm guessing that we will have a pick for you next week. So uh, at the end of the day, everyone say good night.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, nice one.
Rower.